Stand up right now if you're able to do so physically. Go ahead. I'll wait right here while you get to your feet. Once standing, take a moment to really pay attention to how your body and mind feel in this exact moment. Do you notice any creeping stiffness in your joints or lower back? Perhaps a heavy tiredness weighing on you? Or that familiar mental fog softly clouding your thinking? Here's an important truth that too many seniors overlook or minimize. The subtle cognitive dullness you're feeling now, along with those frustrating occasional memory slips or difficulty finding the right word, may not be an inevitable or truly normal part of aging, even though that's the assumption many have reluctantly accepted over the years. Let me share the surprising, often ignored reality. These persistent sleep problems are quietly and steadily wearing down the long-term health and performance of your brain. The damage occurs silently, no sharp physical pain, no blaring warnings, and usually without you noticing the gradual harm building deep within. What if I told you directly that the single biggest hidden factor quietly undermining brain health in so many older adults isn't excessive sugar, isn't just accumulated chronic stress from past years, and isn't primarily genetics, but something much more widespread, routine, and entirely within your power to improve? Your sleep habits, routines, and patterns? I'm Dr. Name, and for more than 20 years, I've dedicated my career and clinical research to understanding the profound connections between sleep and lasting brain health, especially in older adults. In my practice, I see the same troubling pattern appear with painful consistency. Seniors arrive worried, sometimes genuinely frightened, certain that their increasing memory lapses, growing irritability or short fuse, or moments of confusion are simply unavoidable markers of getting older that everyone must eventually accept. But in a surprisingly large number of these cases, when we examine the full picture carefully, the true underlying cause is something far more fixable, treatable, and manageable: the quality of their sleep, or more precisely, how consistently they've been missing out on reliable, high-quality, deeply restorative sleep night after night. Much of what people have heard for years and what still appears in standard sleep advice is unfortunately incomplete. It misses several of the most critical and powerful details. Quality sleep isn't primarily or only about the number of hours you spend in bed. In reality, sleep is the single most vital, non-negotiable daily period when your brain carries out essential behind-the-scenes maintenance and restoration. It actively clears away harmful metabolic waste and toxic proteins, such as the notorious beta amyloid linked to cognitive decline, that build up during wakefulness. It firmly consolidates and strengthens the new memories and skills acquired that day. It performs careful repairs on fatigued or damaged neural connections, and it rebalances your emotional centers to restore calm and resilience for the day ahead. When sleep is frequently interrupted, fragmented, shallow, or lacking true depth, even if the total hours appear adequate, the brain is almost always the first organ to display the resulting damage, decline, and reduced function. From a solid clinical and neuroscientific perspective, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, your brain's master circadian clock located in the hypothalamus, depends heavily on consistent, reliable timing cues from your daily routines and environment to stay properly synchronized and perform optimally. When bedtime varies too much or becomes irregular, even by just an hour or two from night to night, the amount and quality of deep NREM sleep, crucial for robust long-term memory consolidation and synaptic pruning, noticeably decreases, weakens, and becomes disrupted. A detailed long-term study conducted by researchers at the University of Colorado Boulder tracked 300 adults across 8 years. The findings revealed that individuals with irregular or highly variable sleep schedules experienced a striking 30% faster decline, specifically in episodic memory, the kind involved in recalling personal events and experiences. And this accelerated decline occurred even when their average sleep duration stayed roughly the same. Another common habit among many seniors is remaining awake in bed for extended periods, anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour or longer, night after night, while reassuring themselves that it's no big deal or this happens occasionally now. But this practice is particularly damaging, insidious, and self-perpetuating. Your brain is a highly efficient, lifelong learning organ that continually forms strong associations between places, behaviors, and mental states. When you repeatedly stay awake, restless, or anxious in bed over weeks and months, Your brain gradually begins linking your bed with wakefulness, alertness, rumination, worry, or mild stress, rather than the calm, deep, restorative sleep it is meant for. Over time, this conditioned negative association results in lighter overall sleep architecture, much more frequent brief awakenings and fragmentation throughout the night, and significantly reduced slow-wave, deep restorative sleep. Think of a simple everyday analogy. It's like repeatedly attempting to park your car, but leaving the engine running and idling in the middle of a noisy, traffic-clogged city intersection instead of pulling into a quiet, secure garage. Your bed should be a peaceful, safe, predictable sanctuary, a genuine garage where your mind and body can completely relax and recharge. Yet by lingering awake and mentally active in it night after night, you unintentionally transform that serene space into something chaotic, like rush hour traffic filled with constant stimulation. Research from Johns Hopkins University, following 250 adults aged 65 and older over an extended period, demonstrated that those who habitually stayed awake in bed for long stretches had, on average, 42% more disruptive awakenings during the night, and clearly higher levels of morning anxiety and tension. The slow but real accumulation of effects includes progressively worsening daytime brain fog, persistent irritability or quick temper, diminished emotional recovery, and even the onset or intensification of anxiety, even among those who previously had little of it. Picture your brain as a large absorbent sponge during the day. It requires sufficient wakefulness pressure from extended active hours to be thoroughly wrung out, cleansed, and refreshed during sleep. When you shorten that daytime buildup by heading to bed far too early, the nighttime processes of cleansing, repair, and memory reinforcement cannot occur as completely or effectively. Detailed polysomnography studies from the University of Michigan showed that seniors with very early bedtimes, often 8 p.m. or earlier, had REM sleep cycles approximately 20% shorter on average, even when they remained in bed for 9 to 10 hours attempting to rest. This timing mismatch frequently resembles, and is mistaken for, the initial symptoms of cognitive decline or mild cognitive impairment. The encouraging news is that in most instances, this is largely reversible through consistent, appropriate adjustments to bedtime. Furthermore, controlled research from Stanford University found that even moderate ambient light exposure at night in adults 65 and older could reduce melatonin production by as much as 50%. This suppression resulted in lighter, less efficient sleep stages, reduced next-day memory formation and retention, and modest but measurable declines in executive function. Far too many seniors underestimate how harmful this single subtle environmental factor can become over time, largely because the brain offers no loud, painful signals when melatonin is chronically diminished. The cognitive and emotional consequences accumulate gradually and quietly across months and years, making the connection to poor sleep habits difficult to recognize in real time. Consider Harold, a 68-year-old man who gradually shifted his bedtime earlier and earlier, eventually settling on 7 p.m., believing more time horizontal would mean better rest, faster recovery, and greater daytime energy. Instead, the opposite occurred. He awoke fully alert at 3 a.m. every night, unable to return to sleep, staring at the ceiling in frustration for hours. Neuropsychological testing later revealed mild but clear reductions in short-term recall and working memory. He had also relied on low-dose sleep medication nightly for years, with fading effectiveness. Together, we established a strict, non-negotiable morning wake-up time, regardless of the previous night's sleep, sharply reduced nighttime light exposure, particularly from devices and hallway lights, and gradually delayed bedtime by 15 minutes every few nights. Harold's deep sleep percentage increased by an impressive 35%, according to his sleep tracker. Within just 8 weeks of adherence, his word recall and list learning scores improved from 1520 to 1920. The heavy morning brain fog he'd suffered for years disappeared entirely, and his daytime mood settled into calm, patient, and positive. The REST protocol successfully reinstated his brain's natural repair and regulatory processes. At the core of the REST protocol is rhythm, locking in a fixed wake-up time every single day. Make a serious commitment to rising and getting out of bed at precisely the same time each morning, no matter how poorly or little you slept the night before. Next is stimulus control, a well-established behavioral sleep method. If you find yourself awake in bed for more than 20-30 minutes at any point during the night, and sleep isn't arriving despite your efforts to relax, get up quietly, maintain very low lighting, using a small red or amber light for safety if necessary, and engage in something truly dull and non-stimulating, such as reading uninteresting pages from a boring book, listening to calm, non-narrative sounds, gentle nature recordings or soft instrumental music, or sitting quietly in another room. The goal is to recondition your brain to strongly associate your bed and bedroom with rest, relaxation, drowsiness, and deep sleep, rather than wakefulness, overthinking, or anxiety. Research from Johns Hopkins indicated this approach reduces average nighttime awakenings by about 42% in seniors within 6 weeks of consistent application. Then comes timing, the third pillar. Aim for a bedtime window, roughly between 9:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. for most seniors. Make slight adjustments based on your natural chronotype or schedule, but this range is supported by solid evidence. If your current bedtime is significantly earlier, such as 7:30 or 8 p.m., move it later gradually, in 15-minute increments every few nights, until you achieve better biological alignment. Finally, actively minimize nighttime light exposure and discuss any ongoing sleep medication carefully with your doctor. After sunset, stick to dim, warm, amber, or red lighting at home and avoid blue light screens, phones, tablets, TVs, etc. for at least 1 hour before bed, ideally 90 minutes to 2 hours. Protecting your natural melatonin is essential for achieving deeper, more restorative sleep and enabling overnight brain repair, memory consolidation, synaptic balance, and emotional recalibration. Even modest, consistent improvements in light management and screen habits frequently deliver surprisingly substantial and enduring benefits to daily brain function and overall well-being. To be completely clear and responsible, the REST protocol provides safe, evidence-based lifestyle and behavioral approaches to improve natural sleep quality and bolster brain health. It is not a medical cure, treatment, reversal, or prevention for diagnosed conditions such as dementia, Alzheimer's disease, vascular cognitive impairment, Lewy body disease, frontotemporal dementia, or other serious progressive neurological disorders. Never discontinue, alter, or adjust any prescribed medications, including sleep aids, antidepressants, blood pressure medications, cognitive enhancers, etc., without thorough discussion and approval from your physician or neurologist. If you have untreated obstructive sleep apnea, significant heart conditions such as congestive heart failure, recent heart attack, or arrhythmias, severe untreated depression, bipolar disorder, restless leg syndrome, chronic pain that disrupts sleep, or other major medical or psychiatric issues, consult your doctor, a sleep specialist, or appropriate expert before implementing substantial changes to your sleep routine. The wisest path is gradual. Begin with a fixed wake-up time. Slowly shift bedtime. Then incorporate stimulus control and light management once the foundation feels stable. Gradual changes allow your body and brain to adapt comfortably and sustainably, much better than sudden shifts. These steps are low risk, generally safe for most older adults when approached thoughtfully, and supported by robust peer-reviewed evidence demonstrating meaningful improvements in sleep quality, cognition, and brain health during aging. My personal challenge to you today: select just one element of the REST protocol, perhaps committing to a fixed wake-up time, including on weekends, gradually shifting bedtime closer to 9:30, 10:30 p.m., reducing evening light exposure, or using stimulus control when awake too long in bed, and follow it faithfully for the next 30 days, without exceptions. Each day, jot down a brief note on how your mental clarity, mood stability, and memory reliability feel compared to before. After 30 days, come back here and share openly in the comments what worked well, what was challenging, and any changes, big or small, in brain function, energy, mood, or sharpness. Your authentic experiences can inspire, encourage, and create hope and connection for others dealing with similar struggles while reinforcing your own commitment. Your brain has faithfully supported you through decades of life's ups and downs, joys, challenges, achievements, setbacks, quiet victories, everything. It has served as your companion, problem solver, memory keeper, and emotional anchor. It deserves far more than to be dismissed as just old age, when so much decline may actually stem from fixable sleep issues rather than irreversible aging. The empowering truth is that you can take practical, science-backed steps right now to achieve sharper memory, stronger focus, more balanced emotions, and renewed mental energy, all through thoughtful, consistent enhancements to your sleep habits. The overlooked reality remains: poor, inconsistent, low-quality sleep, not merely sugar, not chronic stress by itself, not just genetics, is quietly accelerating brain function decline every day, often without pain or obvious alerts. Across more than 20 years in senior brain health and sleep research and practice, I've observed this preventable pattern repeat in hundreds of patients. Memory problems, irritability, confusion, word-finding issues, daytime fatigue, and reduced resilience frequently arise from chronic sleep disruptions and suboptimal sleep structure, not simply from aging alone. Sleep acts as active nightly brain maintenance, clearing toxins, storing memories, repairing connections, resetting emotions. When quality falters, the brain suffers first and most severely. The truth so many continue to overlook, undervalue, or fail to see is this: poor, disrupted, inconsistent, or low-quality sleep habits. Not excessive sugar intake over the years, not chronic stress and isolation, not solely genetic factors, are quietly and steadily impairing and hastening brain function, decline every single day, often without pain, without dramatic signals, and without the connection being immediately clear. After more than 20 years dedicated to senior brain health and sleep science in both research and clinical settings, I've seen this same avoidable pattern recur countless times across hundreds of patients. Memory lapses, heightened irritability or emotional reactivity, increasing confusion or word-finding struggles, persistent daytime fatigue, and lowered mental resilience very often trace back to chronic sleep disruptions and less than optimal sleep architecture, rather than unavoidable, unstoppable aging on its own. Sleep is far more than passive rest. It serves as the essential, active nightly phase during which your brain manages critical housekeeping, clearing built-up toxic metabolic waste, consolidating and reinforcing new memories for long-term storage, performing microscopic repairs to damaged or weakened neural pathways, and resetting your emotional equilibrium and limbic system for greater stability and adaptability moving forward. When sleep quality repeatedly diminishes, fragments, or becomes shallower, your brain inevitably bears the consequences first and most profoundly, often well before other organs display clear signs. Thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to watch, listen, or read all the way through. It means a lot that you dedicated this time to learning about something so fundamental to your long-term well-being. Feel entirely free and encouraged to share your current age in the comments. It helps build community understanding. Or simply write the word foggy if that describes how your thinking or energy has felt lately. Or type "I'm in" if you're ready and motivated to begin at least one small, practical rest change tonight or tomorrow. Enhancing and safeguarding your sleep is one of the kindest, most powerful, accessible, and impactful things you can do for your mind's long-term health, sharpness, and vitality. I truly appreciate you joining me here today, and I look forward to hearing from you soon, whether with a brain-restored note, your 30-day update, or a short comment on how this message connected with you. Take excellent care of yourself and your sleep until next time. One final gentle reminder as we close: the rest protocol adjustments are deliberately approachable, sustainable, and forgiving. You don't need to revamp your entire life overnight. Attempting to implement everything at once often leads to overwhelm and rapid burnout. That's precisely why the protocol stresses beginning with just one pillar: rhythm as the most powerful and foundational, since a consistent wake-up time establishes a reliable anchor around which everything else can build. Once that anchor is secure, the remaining adjustments, bedtime timing, stimulus control, light management, become significantly easier and more effective. Many people starting this journey report that the first week or two feels a little strange, perhaps waking at the new fixed time feeling groggy after limited sleep, or resisting the temptation to nap, a frequent urge that's best gently avoided when possible to maintain nighttime sleep drive. These temporary discomforts are normal indicators that your internal clock and sleep pressure systems are recalibrating. They nearly always subside within 7-14 days as consistency strengthens and your circadian rhythm solidifies. If you encounter persistent challenges, like remaining extremely sleepy during the day after weeks of effort, or noticing loud snoring, gasping, as reported by a partner, frequent leg movements that wake you, or other signs suggesting an underlying sleep disorder, please don't delay seeking professional guidance. A sleep study, polysomnography, or consultation with a board-certified sleep medicine specialist can identify treatable conditions such as sleep apnea, periodic limb movement disorder, or others that behavioral changes alone may not completely address. Treating those root issues first often makes the rest protocol more effective and faster acting. For the majority of cases, where accumulated poor sleep habits, rather than a major undiagnosed medical sleep disorder, are the primary concern, the strength of this approach lies in its simplicity and empowerment. No expensive devices, exotic supplements, or elaborate routines are required. What counts is consistency, patience, and giving sleep the same priority you offer to nutrition, exercise, and relationships. Sleep is not a luxury or optional extra. It's the foundation that enables every other aspect of life to perform at its best. As you proceed with your selected single change over the next 30 days, approach it with curiosity instead of perfectionism. Observe what occurs when you adhere to your wake-up time, even following a difficult night. Notice how energy, mood, and mental clarity change, even subtly, when you reduce evening screens and bright lights. Check whether getting out of bed after 20-30 minutes awake reduces the time needed to fall back asleep upon returning. These small personal observations are powerful. They transform abstract science into tangible, lived evidence that your efforts are producing results. When the 30 days conclude, I genuinely hope you'll return and share. It can be short. Something straightforward like, age 72, started with fixed 7 a.m. wake up, fog lifting a bit each week, I'm in. Or, foggy described me perfectly. After 30 days, no phone past 9 p.m., mornings feel clearer. Or, tough at first, wanted to stay in bed at 4 a.m., but stimulus control helped, memory sharper already. Your voice matters. Every genuine contribution supports someone else reading right now, feeling discouraged and wondering if change is realistic at their age. It demonstrates they're not alone, that modest, consistent actions can lead to meaningful progress, and that it's never too late to provide your brain with the nightly support it has quietly needed. In closing, here's my final reflection. Aging itself is not the enemy of a sharp, vibrant mind. Neglecting the brain's most essential nightly recovery process is. By choosing, even in one small way, to prioritize better sleep architecture, you're investing in sustained mental clarity, emotional steadiness, and resilience that enrich every part of life. You've already completed the most difficult step by reading to the end and considering that just getting older may not be the complete explanation. Now the next small step belongs to you. Choose your one rest element tonight. Commit starting tomorrow morning. Track it gently for 30 days. Then come back and let us know how it went. Your clearer-minded future self is waiting on the other side of that consistency. Thank you once more for your time, your attention, and your openness to a different approach for brain health. Sleep well, live sharply, and I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, take good care. Good